Yep, this was my first tractor. The old 4020 diesel. Ah, man. Wish you guys could have seen her back in her prime. So I'm checking to see, we have our soil moisture probes out here. And so what I'm doing is I'm checking to see if I think that they're giving accurate readings. I'll be coming out with my soil auger, and I will actually be physically feeling and seeing the moisture in the soil. And I'll be able to kind of get somewhat of a gauge to see if these probes are working good. I don't know what coat hanger's doing up there. Maybe we got a hobo living in here. By the looks of it, I think we just might. That'll do. You can clearly see out here that we just got done irrigating this morning. This top layer of soil is quite wet, very wet. That's what we like to see. But we're gonna auger down and see what our soil moisture is like. I think I'll probably just go 2, maybe 3 feet down. Orange, you gonna ask me what this is? Just double checking. Make sure you guys are on your feet. Oh yeah. Real muddy top layer. A lot of good moisture in there. For sure. I need to make markings on this thing so that I can see where exactly 12 inches, 24 inches, 36 would be. Oh yeah, still plenty of moisture. So obviously what I'm looking for is you can just feel the moisture. You can see the moisture. This will be the last one. So yeah, plenty. Let's go to the other spot and see what it looks like. That seems pretty good. I can already tell right away this isn't as wet as the top layer in that other spot. We'll do one more. Excuse me. Yep, this is definitely still wet. So, excuse me. The beginning of the year like this is where watering is really, well, water is critical all times of the year, but this beginning we don't want the trees to start out stressed. And we want to stay, we want to keep like think of this moisture, the soil as a bank. And so we want to keep that bank full as much as we can starting off, because we don't want to be trying to play catch up with making sure that water profile is filled throughout the year. So before I get too far ahead of myself, I do want to show you and kind of talk about what we have done. When we first planted the orchards, we got systems installed to be able to monitor the soil moisture, to be able to monitor the weather and things like that. It wasn't really working out for us. So we've actually partnered up with WiseCon, and WiseCon uses a system called Drop Control, and so there's an app that we use. They were able to monitor that soil moisture, but there's also a lot of cool things that we can do with this setup. Sorry. So here's the app. When I pull it up, the cool thing you can see right here is just immediately there's a map, and it shows our two orchard blocks. And it shows different colors. So there's a blue, that means very wet. That's the one that I just got done irrigating. And then our east block is okay with soil moisture. Then I'm able to see what's running. Here's what the weather's doing. And then what's really, really cool is I can schedule. So if I go into here, I can schedule an exact date and time that I want the east block to start up running. And then I can go back and I can do the west block. Starting times, end time, and then I didn't have to touch a thing. I could sit at home and it'll fire up the irrigation pump for me. So it really, really helps us out, and it's super, super awesome. Well, after having it buried in the mud, you gotta clean your tool before putting it away. So if you watched the last video, then you already know that we're gonna be planting, we're doubling the size of our orchard. We're gonna be planting another 120 acres. For those of you who didn't watch the last video, surprise, I'm just going to show you guys the difference in irrigation that we do between the pastures and the almonds. So we're going to be getting rid of 120 acres of pasture, putting in 120 acres of almonds, so we'll be irrigating it differently. So the two different types of irrigation for the pasture is flood irrigation. With the trees we use micro irrigation, we use micro sprinklers. Micro sprinklers are much more efficient, and I'm going to show you why flood isn't as efficient. Ivy, I think I'm going to train you so that you can close gates for me. I think she could handle it. Not that big. Little fun fact for you, this odd torn up cattle guard looking thing. So out here we have about 305 acres that used to be all cattle pasture, and they were split up into about 12 to 14 pastures. And so you had all these scooter guards, we call them scooter guards. We call them scooter guards because my dad and my grandpa had Honda Trail 90s or 110s that they would check irrigation and check cattle with. And so instead of having to stop and open the gate, they would just ride up through here. My dad had been doing it for probably 10 years or so on Honda Fat Cats. And then I took over doing the irrigating. And so I was riding Honda Fat Cats, and we'd ride over these and come in the field without having to open the gate anymore. Once we started getting kind of the four-wheel stuff, couldn't fit through them, and we just started opening gates. One area with flood irrigation where it's not as efficient as micro irrigation, you have to really make sure that you have leveled off fields, and you have to make sure that you have these berms that are lined up to allow the water to come down. One of the problems is if these aren't perfect, then you're going to have large dry areas. So you can see here, I got done irrigating this 2 days ago, and there's still just standing water in here. And with flood irrigation, you got to make sure that the water makes it all the way down to the end, and then it eventually just goes and it gets put into a drain ditch. And so there's a lot of wasted water. So then you got to let the water drain all the way down this way, and there's the water up at the top. The areas up at the top are going to get more water than they need, and the areas at the bottom of the field are going to get less water, not enough water. So it's just not a super efficient system. So we call them irrigation pots. Obviously they are a pot. They've got a valve in them, and then there's a line. Oh, hey, this is my wife's horse. Looks like that's Rory. Do you think those sprinklers are for you? There's no grain in there. Times have changed. We went from flood irrigation to orchards with micro sprinklers. Check this out. This is the thing that I was telling you guys about, the Honda Fat Cat. So I actually took this up to school and restored it. I got new fenders, plastic, seat, made sure I think I went through the engine, redid some stuff on the engine to get it running, and then it's just kind of sat since I got home. Look at that, I even got my Idaho plates. That's what I drove to class. Got these large, kind of almost ATV tires. It hasn't run in a while. I think we should try and get it running. Gas. Probably not the greatest gas. Let's see if we'll start. Yeah, that's fun. Huh. I tried. Whew. Yeah, I definitely can tell that I am out of shape. Just trying to kick that thing over. That was a good workout. Oh, boy, am I out of shape. Gosh, look at all this stuff. We'll be cleaning this stuff up this winter. This barn will be coming down. Obviously, it's kind of served its purpose. It's seen its last heyday. So this was the old shop my great-grandpa built, and it's time to come down. One thing these wasps need to understand is that the real boss is here. See that speed? Yeah, neither did they. Well, thank you for coming along with me to take 4, 3, something like that. Well, thanks for coming along with me today, guys. I really appreciate the help. You know, sometimes it just gets lonely out there, so even the company I do appreciate. But we'll see you on the next one.